Back to the lady from Texas is recognized.
Man, oh man, there has been so much today, and I truly don't know where to start. So I'm just gonna make sure that we start off with a few facts. So a couple of facts that we need to make clear for everyone is that, number one, Director Christopher Wray, when he was appointed to be the head of the FBI, was appointed by Donald Trump. Now, I will agree that I definitely take issue with a number of decisions that Donald Trump makes, especially when it comes to the people that he decides to appoint to very important positions, including this one, because I did have to make sure that I wasn't going crazy. But when I say that you are the least qualified FBI director in the history of the FBI, that is real, because you are the only one that never even served with the FBI prior to joining, yet we are supposed to believe that you are the greatest thing since sliced bread. I didn't ask you a question. Now, what I want to go through is to talk about why you are a failure and why, honestly, we just need to tell you bye-bye. I know that you got a little upset and you put on your show for your boss because it seems like you're trying to save your job when it came to talking to Senator Booker yesterday. But let's go through some of your failures.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so here we go. Here we got Ratchet Crockett coming up to the stage, coming up to the mic, gonna let us know exactly what's going on with Kash Patel. Is that a fact? Like, he's not qualified. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, of course, you know, when they get all of their information from the mainstream news, you know, and the corporate press, of course they're going to think he's not qualified, because the way they label Kash Patel is, oh, he's a podcaster and he's a conspiracy theorist. Went to school for conspiracy theory. Like, they just believe everything from the corporate press and just run with that and, like, don't even think to fact check any of this stuff. They don't actually look into his background. The dude's got loads and loads and loads, not only of prosecutorial experience, but he's also worked at the Department of Defense, running divisions at the Department of Defense. He's got plenty of experience. He's well qualified. I wouldn't say the best qualified. Sure, you could have somebody more qualified, but I think he's a much better candidate. He's a much better FBI director than we've ever had. All you got to do is look at the stats, folks. Just look at the stats. But we're going to get into all this. You guys do me that favor and smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and all over the place all at the same time if you could. And click that join button. You know you want to. You know you need to. You need to do it to help this channel expand and grow. But without any further ado, folks, here's the rest of the story. She doesn't even give him time to talk.
So before you were even confirmed, and I think one of my colleague from Georgia, pointed out that you were already targeting career officials so that you could direct illegal firings. Mind you, these cases that you were so upset about, which are the ones tied to Trump, the cases came through his handpicked FBI director. And frankly, when people sit around and say things like, oh, you know, we're happy because now we feel safe, I don't know who feels safe in this country except for the white supremacist, because I specifically as a black woman definitely don't feel safe. And frankly, my colleagues have been real nice to you today, and I applaud them, but I don't have the same demeanor because I know that multiple colleagues on this side of the aisle have faced death threats. In fact, somebody tried to kill one of my colleagues, and frankly, I don't know if this FBI or under your leadership, if those people would have been caught. I don't have any confidence in you. And if we start talking about the reasons that I lack confidence, we could start with you not just wanting to acknowledge some simple facts. Simple facts like the vast majority of the threats are coming from right-wing extremism. And I know my colleagues have tried to stress this, but I decided that I would maybe do it in a different way. Number one, I have a couple of UCs. Kim Buck, one of multiple Republicans receiving death threats for voting against Jim Jordan as House Speaker.
Without objection.
Another one, Republican lawmaker says she received death threats after voting against Jim Jordan in Speaker's race.
Without objection.
In addition, there was another one from another colleague who now is leaving Congress because they said that they were calling his wife anonymously and threatening her life to the extent that she ended up sleeping with a firearm.
Without objection.
Okay, so here's the deal. How are we supposed to have confidence when you're sitting up here telling the Senate yesterday that it will take you 14 years before you can get the FBI fully staffed to do their jobs? You're also now redirecting resources so that they can go and play ICE agents on the streets. You're getting rid of your most qualified people, and even when it came down to somebody that you consider to be a friend, you were posted up having some fancy dinner to the extent that you posted not only once erroneously, you posted twice erroneously as it relates to catching somebody, and then you want to go and say, let me take a victory lap. Because honestly, if it wasn't for parents deciding that they were going to turn in their child, it seems like y'all wouldn't have got there, even though he literally confessed online. So I'm confused about what it is that the FBI is doing except for trying to put on a show for the apprentice, or whatever you want to call him. The day after all of this took place, there was domestic terrorism that was taking place at HBCUs. They were targeted. Yet I didn't hear anything from the FBI about what was going on. And again, black people kept saying, how did we end up in this? Because the numbers are so very clear that white supremacy is a problem. And honestly, I've not heard anything out of you today that makes me believe that you're gonna do anything about the white supremacy problem. The one that is leading to children being killed, children being shot, as well as members of their community as they're worshiping in their churches.
The time of the gentlelady has expired. If the gentleman would like to respond to any of that. Well, I mean, I'll respond. Kash Patel, as I said when I introduced him, public defender, former prosecutor, top staffer on the House Intelligence Committee, Deputy Director of National Intelligence with the National Security Council, Chief of Staff at the Department of Defense, and FBI Director. I think that's a pretty good resume for the guy who's now running the top law enforcement agency in our country. And we've seen all the stats that he's given to the committee on how much better they're doing at getting the bad guys than the previous guy was doing. With that, I recognize the gentleman from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, I think you're witnessing some auditions, clickbait auditions for the Academy Award for my Democratic colleagues. We'll see how they fare as they're on MSNBC later on today. Do you care, before I launch into my line of questioning, to respond to Ms. Crockett from Texas on that very elaborate and theatric display?
Here's what I've learned in my government service. I don't give a damn what they say about me as long as I'm succeeding in the mission. We're succeeding in the mission because the men and women of the FBI have never been empowered to do more work and to hit the streets harder than by President Trump's authorities and resources he's given us. And so all I care about is that we are capturing more child predators than ever before, taking more drugs off the streets than ever before, that we are capturing murderers at a significantly historic rate, and we're delivering this country the lowest murder rate in recorded history. That are facts that you cannot dispute. But you can come at me all you want. I don't care.
Oh, so Jasmine Crockett lives in fear of the white supremacists. Oh, the big bad white guy. The guys that are ostracized from polite society, for crying out loud. Like, sure, do they pose a threat? Yes, I'm not going to deny that. These people are scumbags, just the worst of the worst. Totally disavow any single white supremacist, neo-Nazi, anybody of the far right. Now, Jasmine Crockett, what I would love for you to do is get out there and disavow BLM or Antifa. I bet you won't do that, will you? Oh, and you talk about threats at the HCBU, huh? Like this.
They threw a drink up top.
Oh my gosh, they threw a drink up top.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Did somebody just throw something in our car?
Arrest. They just tried to hit the car. They're still hitting the car. Whoa! That was loud.
If you read it, Can't even hear you. Very safe, very black, and very tired of this.
All we did was set up a table.
TSU no more, boy.
Yeah, that dude got ran off because he was trying to go there to debate college students. All he wanted to do was pull up and pretend to be Charlie Kirk. Right? Like, there's a lot of that going on right now, and I applaud every single bit of it. And sure, you saw that video, the one right there at the beginning, this lady was absolutely attacked by one of these nut jobs. But this guy that pulled up and was trying to just have debate, just have civil discourse with these people, he wasn't attacked, but they did run the guy off. Absolutely ran the guy out of there. And, you know, it's just truly insane. How can we expect to get anything done in this country if you go try to talk to the people on the other side, you know, the people that you disagree with, and they run you out of there instead of having civil discourse, instead of trying to work all these issues out? Maybe we can see eye to eye, find some common ground here, maybe find some common ground over there as well. Because, once again, folks, we're all Americans. We're all here in this same country, and we must coexist. But how can you coexist with some people that want to just kick you out of polite society? That's what they want to do. That's what that was. That's what that display was. And Jasmine Crockett wants to get out there and talk about the white supremacists, the people that are ostracized from polite society. Yes, and they are where they should be, as a matter of fact. And guess who put them there? All of us did. Everybody. Shunning these people into oblivion, for crying out loud, because it's a disgusting ideology outright and has nothing to do with the modern day conservative movement. Has nothing to do with it. Like, you can't see, there's so much daylight in between there that it turns around that you start seeing nighttime, that there's so much daytime. It's as far as the east is from the west. Can we say the same thing? Yeah, the difference between the far right and modern day conservatives. Can we say the same thing about the far left and Democrats and liberals? No, we cannot, right? One is just a tiny step, one small step for man, one giant leap for the insane in this country, right? Because it doesn't take much to just fall off that cliff and go completely insane, it seems like, because this shooter, the assassin for Charlie Kirk, he espoused just general run-of-the-mill liberal talking points, liberal ideology, folks. That's what we've been screaming. You know, when it first happened, I started calling this guy the far left, the far left, the far left. But then you start looking at some of the talking points and some of the ideology and some of the stuff that they espouse. And it's the same stuff that Democrats espouse. I can't tell any difference, folks. The modern day liberals, a lot of them, not all, once again, it is not all. I'm not saying all, because there are a lot of sane Democrats, very, very good liberals out there. Now, what I would like to see is some of these liberals say that there are some very, very good conservatives out there. But you don't hear that, do you? No, we're all evil. Every single Christian in this world is evil. And it's insane. It's total insanity. And I don't know what this world is coming to. Once again, folks, like I said, I am really, really happy that Donald Trump designated Antifa a domestic terrorist group, an organization, for crying out loud, because it needed to happen. That's been needing to happen. If that would have happened in his first term, we might not have seen a lot of the violence from the Summer of Love, because They would have had the FBI. We could have gotten other federal law enforcement out there to actually nab these guys, go after them, and prevent some of the threats, prevent some of the violence, prevent some of this nonsense that took place. Once again, I still criticize Donald Trump heavily for not sending in the National Guard for the Summer of Love. He's doing it now for much, much less. And that's good. That's very, very good. I'm glad Trump is doing that. We've got National Guard going into Portland, which, hey, that's great. Got them going into Memphis. We've got Operation Midway Blitz underway in Chicago. We're seeing all kind of clashes with federal law enforcement up there. This is good. All of it's good, folks. These people need to be nipped in the bud because this violence, these threats of violence must come to an end. Look, I will tell any white supremacists out there, any of these nut jobs that keep on sending death threats to these politicians and death threats to these political pundits, it must come to a stop. You're not helping anything at all, folks. None of that helps anything, ever. These death threats, most of them are not credible threats, right? Like what she was talking about. Most of those threats are not credible threats. These are just pissed off people that want to play games, right? That's all they want to do, and it stokes fears. But, you know, once again, that fear that you don't really know if it's credible or not, that's terrorism, folks. And it does come from both sides, but the vast majority of the actual violence, like we saw in that clip, that's coming from leftists, BLM. That is a terrorist organization, in my opinion. They have turned themselves, the Summer of Love, they turned themselves into a terrorist organization when they started burning down federal courthouses, police stations, burning down local businesses, and in some cases, black-owned businesses. That's just completely insane to me. Like, are you freaking kidding me with this? These people are supposed to be standing up for black people, right? And they go and burn down black-owned businesses. How much sense does that make? None whatsoever, folks. That's because that's not what they're doing. They're not standing up for black people. They are there to terrorize conservatives, to terrorize anybody that does not align with their ideology, anybody that does not fall in lockstep with what they do and say and feel. Yeah, feel, like emotional feelings. It's truly insane what's going on. I don't know how, I kind of know how it's gotten to this in this country. That a lot of the colleges have pushed a lot of this delusional nonsense that just doesn't align with reality, and these kids get out there in the real world and reality hits them in the face and they lash out. That's what I'm seeing all over the place, folks. But I think I've rambled on for long enough on this one. You guys let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. This type of stuff really does blow my mind all the time. You see stuff like this, and these Democratic politicians get out there and they want to pretend, oh, it's both sides. Well, actually, it's not both sides, because the vast majority of all the political violence is coming from the right, when it's really not. It's really not. We can see that with our eyes. I mean, I read news on a constant basis, folks. And we just don't see these threats of violence coming from white supremacists. We just don't. But like I said, y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got. Y'all don't forget to smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and all over the place, all at the same time, if you could and if you would. It would really, really do me a big favor and help this channel out tremendously if you guys would click that join button, sign up, and become a member. Help this movement expand and grow, because we need to. We need to make it expand and grow, because we've got to get the message out there. We've got to get people back in line with conservative values. This conservatism movement, folks, is growing, and it's starting to snowball, I believe. Starting to snowball. That's why we're seeing all these threats of violence and all this nonsense coming from the left, right? It's because they're losing. But like I said, you guys, y'all remember that God is always with us, and he loves each and every one of you out there. So y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.